Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to experiment some more with these massive rocket engines because they're just so attractive to play with. And I want to make a hovercraft that uses these as its primary source of vertical hover thrust. So it is going to have sensors and stuff. It's going to use gyro stabilizers to stay upright and probably gyros to turn. But I just thought it would be such a cool looking creation if these things were blasting off just to keep it up in the air. Like, I don't know. Something about that feels really fun to me. So that's what this video is going to be about. And I think we could create a pretty cool looking vehicle if we do that. So let's start building this thing and see what happens. Also, the Christmas update, I think, actually modified those rockets as well. My rocket go-kart. So I just want to see how this feels. Because I think they changed, I think if I remember the notes correctly, they changed the ramp-up time of the rocket from 12 seconds down to 3 seconds, which is a huge difference. Let's just see how this feels. And I mean, it's hard to tell without a direct A/B comparison, but it does feel like I got up to my max speed way quicker with this thing. So that's good. If you missed the rocket go-kart episode, go ahead and check that out. After this, don't click off this video yet, because we're gonna build a rocket hover sled. I don't know, hover something. All right, I'm kind of inclined to it's not gonna work well if I do this. Dang, I wanted to use the motorcycle seat, but then if I use like a gyro for turning, it's not going to be centered. Yeah, so never mind. We're going to be using the go-kart seat. Because I just feel like for this type of hovercraft, the visual I have is you're going to see my character fully exposed sitting on top of it, kind of like a motorcycle. All right, so now how big are these thrusters compared to this? Pretty big. This is going to be a challenge. So what I imagined is these thrusters are going to be tilted out by like 30 degrees. I think that would just look cool. Oh, you know what else I'm realizing? I should probably also use these for the primary thrust of the entire vehicle itself. That could be pretty cool as well. These things are heavy though. I mean, they're powerful, so shouldn't really matter. So these are not equal as far as their circular design goes. We have these things on one side. Should it be better? It'd probably be better on the outside. Yeah, I think on the outside would be better. All right, how's this looking so far? All right, I could probably go with a little bit more angle, maybe 45 degrees. All right, there we go. I'm liking this so far. I think it needs to be a little bit longer though. All right, something weird's happening. You can clearly see these back ones are not turning as much. Oh, because half of the steering hinges aren't actually being controlled. All right, there we go. There we go. That feels more consistent now. Oh boy. Oh. Now I'm just a stick now. So obviously things are gonna have to equalize out just a little bit. Oh boy, here we go. Oh, that was a pretty satisfying crash though. We're not ready. We are not ready by any means. I just wanted to press buttons to see what happens there. So these are gonna be automated. I'm thinking sensor automated. How is my ground clear? I mean, it doesn't even matter what my ground clearance is because I can make it whatever I want with my sensor. All right, so out of curiosity, I am just going to, this is not going to be a robust enough control system for my altitude. But what I'm gonna do is I have a front sensor and I have a back sensor. I'm gonna have the front sensor control the front rockets. I'm gonna have the back sensor control the back rockets. Now the issue is we're gonna have probably at least a really bad bobbing effect. Let's just see what happens here. Yeah, so that's what I'm worried about. So now, this is where some gyros could come in handy. Let's try out some gyro stabilization. Let's put that like this. All right, they are not strong enough. Well, what is happening here? Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. All right, hold on. We need another gyro. All right, here we go. Now we got some stabilization going. But as you can see, the bobbing, very, very, very bad. Very bad. All right, I think 3 is going to be a more reasonable distance to set here. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. Why am I spinning, though? Why am I spinning so aggressively? All right, well, here's where another gyro is going to come in handy. We are going to have an actual steering gyro. All right, so that should dampen my rotation, and I should be... Oh, those back ones should not be steering like that, but now I can actually steer myself. Oh my goodness, I'm actually kind of stabilizing out now in a weird not too stable way. All right, I need a way to turn it off, actually. Yeah, I can't turn this off, and I cannot build while moving. Why am I tilting, though? All right, here, no, come back. Please, come back. All right, here we go. We're stabilizing out now. This looks crazy. This is almost everything I hoped it would be. I just don't know why I'm not straighter aligned. All right, you know, I just remembered how heavy these things are. Because I was like, why do the gyros need to be so strong? Because it's not a big vehicle, but these are 100 kilograms each. So this is 559 kilograms, including everything else. So yeah, I'm gonna bump up a lot more strength in these. All right, so now I need to get rid of this bobbing effect, and I need to be able to turn it on. My idea for that is I'm gonna need logic first of all, and I'm gonna need speed sensors. So I'm gonna have it, they're gonna act, if I start going down too fast, they're going to activate. So if I go down by like 0.2 kilometers an hour, they should turn on. Oh, I think I could just hook those up in there. Yeah, I can just hook them up just like that. All right, let's just see how that feels now. All right, already so much better. And then if I get close enough to the ground, because it's gonna let me descend, but if I get close enough to the ground, the distance sensors will then override and keep adding input like this. And I'm thinking a single distance sensor rather than two is going to be better. Those distance sensors are not even on the same distance from the ground. So that's why I'm tilting forward like this. All right, this is good though. This is looking way, way, way more stable. All right, but the problem is I need an on and off button. So I need to take an AND gate. This AND gate is going to essentially be my power condition. So I have a lot of conditions that can trigger these. First is this distance sensor, I'm just gonna have go to all of them. So I want the distance sensor and I want the speed sensor to trigger all of the rocket engines. So for that, I will have an OR gate. So basically what this means is if either the speed sensor or the distance sensor is active, it'll send a positive output here. And then that output is gonna go to the AND gate. So now this AND gate is only going to power the rocket engines if this OR gate is active by either of these. And this also has to be active, which is going to be just a number one toggle. So this is my on and off button. So if that does not go in here, this AND gate cannot activate. So now I need to actually make sure that this distance sensor is no longer going to any of those because it goes to the logic, not to... Yeah, these go straight to the logic and not to the rocket engines. This AND gate is the only thing that should be going to the rocket engines. So now they should be off. All right, then if I press number 1, distance sensors should activate, and then speed sensor takes over as I come down. This is great so far. So now I am having a center of mass issue where I'm heavier in the back because I have 3 rocket engines in the back, but only 2 in the front, which is causing me to go backwards pretty consistently. So let me take some weight then, add it up to the nose here. I'll just add 2 like that. Now let's see how I sit. Oh, look at that. So much better. Look at this thing. This is great so far. That's changed the game. That really changed the game. How cool would it be to actually have some articulation in these to influence the controllability of it rather than just relying on gyro controls? Some thrust vectoring, if you will. So in order to do this, I am going to have to add something different here, which is going to be a rotating servo on every single one of these. All right, let's see if this is still stable. Turn it on. All right, looking good. So now, let's see if this works. A to turn left. Oh wait, hold on. I gotta turn off my gyro. So this no longer controls my turning. And let's also turn off air control. So the only source of turning right now is gonna be the rocket engines themselves. So let's see if this works. Oh yeah. No problem. Look at this. That looks great. All right, cool. We can go forward. Should I angle them forward to go forward as well? Would that just add a little bit to the immersion? I think they should brake, perhaps. It's gonna be a little bit more complicated with the controls, but we do need some braking. So we need a positive signal here and a positive signal here to go forward. And then we need a negative signal and a negative signal on this side to go forward. Forward on the right side is a positive signal. So we go W, that goes here. And then S as well for backwards. This one is going to be reversed. W is negative, S is positive. All right, does that work? Forward, backward. That works. Now let's see if I stay up in the air. My other sensors should be covering for that. All right, because normally, if I was to do this without the other sensor compensation, tilting them forward would make me lose altitude because that would change the thrust vector from being all that force going upwards to only some of that force going upwards. And I am losing altitude, but is it going to be consistent or is it going to recover? It looks like it's recovering enough. It feels like I'm going down, but I should be at the ground by now. All right, and then slow down. This is turning out so well. Even better than I thought. I thought much of it was going to rely on like the gyros and stuff for the controls. I thought I was just going to use the thrust just to keep myself up in the air. This is looking so much better using the rocket engines as controls as well. This is great. Oh man, and when I add some aerodynamics onto this thing so the turning feels less floaty, this thing is I'm gonna love this. I do love this. I love it already. We might be there for controls now. Like, this thing works great. Even better than I was expecting. So I'm gonna design this thing up a little bit aesthetically. I don't know what that's gonna entail yet. I feel like it's gonna be hard. I kind of want to add designs like to the ends of these rocket engines here, but that's gonna be a variable because when I turn, that design's gonna move. So I don't know if I can do that yet. All right, I've been working on some design elements, putting a little bit of time into it, and I just thought of another control I neglected. Also, my weight distribution is getting a little bit off, so I will have to modify that a little bit. But what about strafing? It should be possible to do strafing using some logic going into the steering hinges that actually angle them outwards. If I angle one side a little bit more, then we should strafe in that direction. So if I want to strafe to the left, pressing Q, then this steering hinge needs to receive a positive signal, and this steering hinge needs to receive a negative signal. If Q is positive, that's going to go to these steering hinges, and then if Q is negative, that's going to go to these steering hinges. I hope I got that right. Let's see if this works now. Let's get into our hover first. So now Q. All right. And then E. I will have to adjust that. I added a weapon here. They aren't going more. They should be going more than they are. Oh, okay. This is going to be a little bit more complicated. So the reason why they're not actually going more is because they're already going their most because of the altitude sensor is triggering them to 45 degrees. So the unfortunate thing about the way that these outputs work is this is not a percentage. So if I go 0.5, that is not going to give a 50% output. It gives like an exponentially decreasing output. So each number down becomes much, much more. So I don't know where the 50% is. I'm just going to try 0.08. And then what I'm doing here now is I'm going to switch all of these. Instead of 45 degrees, they're going to go 90 degrees. And what I want them to do is still be at 45 degrees. And that doesn't look quite like 45 degrees. Let's go 0.09. And that is way more than 45 degrees. So somewhere in between there. It would be so much more intuitive if this was just percentage. All right, 0.85. So that looks like 45 degrees to me. So now the strafing. Oh boy. All right, so we got some issues with the front there. That's unfortunate. But now the strafing does a little bit more of what it's supposed to do. Now I'm gonna have these, instead of these being a full output, which will change them to, which will make them go the full 90 degrees that I programmed, I'm gonna have it go 0.9. So it'll go a little bit less of the way. Go 0.88. I don't think it's working the way it should work. Let's just try like 0.2. See, it's going like the full amount, which I don't want. All right, it's not. All right, I'm gonna have to make some adjustments to the front. I had these guns on here, and I love the placement, but it is interfering with the ability of these to actually angle upwards. But yeah, now the strafing, less issues. All right, so now check it out. There we go. Strafe left, and then strafe to the right. Left, right. For some reason, left seems to go way faster than right. Look at that difference. That's a little bit weird. It goes slow and then it like locks in. I don't understand that well, but it's doing its purpose. It allows me to strafe. Oh, let's make sure everything else is going well here too. All right, looking pretty good. Turn. Okay, turning is a little bit weird with how that's going, but we're doing okay. All right, I've made the executive decision to actually have some gyro assistance in this thing for turning, and that is because the rocket engines, they don't have the most consistent output because it depends on our altitude and it'll turn them on and off. So that means when we're turning, also based off of the angle of rocket engines, we're not having always a consistent force for that turning, so it can be a little bit weird sometimes. So I'm gonna use the gyros to help out with that, just so we have that guaranteed force going through there. All right, I spent a lot of time on just the design of this thing, and I add a little bit more functionality to it, and that functionality is landing gear, because I noticed, here, check it out. It's automatic. When I press number 1 to engage my hover mode, the landing gear goes away, and I start hovering, because I noticed that when I turned off hover mode, I would just fall out of the air and slam on the ground and my thrusters would fall off. Now I still fall out of the air and slam on the ground, but the landing gear catches me and makes it much softer, which is very, very nice. Oh, I actually realized I have something that I mispainted. I added an inertia block more for aesthetics than anything, but it probably also adds a little bit of functionality to it as well. So now we will have a trail behind us as well. And as you can see, I do have the tail fins in the back, which allows me to, the turning isn't quite as sharp when I'm going fast because it catches the wind a little bit, but it also helps to redirect me, just kind of like the inertia block does as well. So that's kind of nice. So yeah, this thing has all kinds of functionality now. And so we got braking. Braking actually works amazingly. Like, look at that. No problem. And then I'm strafing to the left, so let me go ahead and strafe to the right a little bit here. There we go. Strafe to the left. Add some braking to that. We've got reverse. No problem. And we've got forward with the extra rear booster there. So yeah, this thing works great. And it's even kind of interesting going forward and then pressing a strafe button. You can see everything just kind of tilts. And then I start to do this weird sideways turn like this. This thing is pretty, I'm really happy with it actually. When I turn, there's a subtle lean into it, which was not intentionally programmed. That's just kind of like a natural byproduct. I mean, the gyros are pretty strong as well. But what I want to do now is I want to take this thing on a normal map with normal terrain and see how it does. Because on flatland hovercrafts that use distance sensors, you know, pretty simple. But when it comes to uneven terrain, I don't know how this thing is going to behave. So let's put it to the test. Yeah, as we're loading in here, there is a problem that I'm imagining. And that problem is the gyro stabilizers that keep me so level. They are going to also keep me level when I'm trying to go up or down a hill, which is going to kind of mess up my trajectory. So this thing might just be a flat land type thing, which most hovercrafts are. Like here, like right here. If I go to this thing, oh yeah, see? It is not going to handle uneven terrain that well. You know what I need? I need to adjust the distance sensor to accommodate this. I need more ground clearance, and what I also need, I need the distance sensor to be more towards the front. So we're going to go ahead and move all this stuff back. Put this distance sensor right there. That's just going to allow it to react a little bit quicker to the ground. And let's put it at like 4 meters. All right, so now I hover this high above the ground, which is quite a lot. And now I'm just going to drive around like normal, and let's just see how it does. Let's see if I can go up this thing here. Here we go. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Yeah, see? See, it is, it's a little bit wonky when the ground starts changing its orientation. This is going to be bad. Oh, maybe not. No, it's not going to be bad. I can go across gaps like that because I have that speed sensor that prevents me from falling fast. So I will slowly lose altitude until I reach the other side. Then the distance sensor will take over again. So the speed sensor really does a good job at helping me avoid falling out of the sky. So that's kind of nice. But actually, if I want to fall out of the sky, I just press number 1, turn the stuff off, and I can just press number 1 to turn back on. So I can control my altitude, or I can control my descent to be a lot quicker. The problem is stuff like this. I'm just going to hit this if I go fast, aren't I? I was just the right altitude. That was luck. If I was not that high, the distance sensors, the rockets would not respond fast enough. So see if I go down to the ground. Too fast. All right, repair. All right, there we go. Come on, gain control. Gain control. Dang it. All right, come on, repair. There we go. All right, so here's going to be a problem if I go forward. Ready? See, it just doesn't have enough time to respond, unfortunately. But that's just a thing that we're gonna... Oh, I forgot to turn myself back on after I repaired. Oh, boy. That was so close. What does first person look like? Ooh, this is actually kind of cool. The engine's a little bit in the way, but that's kind of how those engines are sometimes. All right, and let's go back into... Oh, that was the wrong button. So that's what happens when you land too hard. All right, here, let's go up this. Oh, it's working. It's actually kind of working. And yeah, I will not go down too fast. So I'm going to maintain altitude pretty well here, which I don't know if that's really a good thing. Yeah, this is a flat land vehicle. Does this? I don't think this is going to work over water. I'm pretty sure the distance sensors don't detect water. But yeah, I will slowly descend, I'm pretty sure, until I hit the water. So I could survive on this for a little while. And then I'm dead. All right, so I've managed to build what I think is a pretty cool and pretty functional looking rocket engine powered hovercraft. And it just needs to be on relatively flat terrain. It can deal with a little bit of bumps here and there. So let me know what you guys think of this thing. I really, really like how this thing turned out. And if you have any other crazy ideas you'd like to see me try to build, then let me know down in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, you'll enjoy some more that you can find right here on the end screen. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.